Welcome to Conversations with Character. I am here with Melissa Pastrana, who is kind of a jack of all trades. She's involved in so much, but I want to start at the very beginning. Melissa, how old are you? Where are you from?
Hi, Corey. Nice to meet you. Sometimes I forget my age because I try not to count. I think I'm 42 last time I checked.
I feel you. Once you pass 30, you kind of just, it stops mattering.
Yeah, it's like, what? Why do we have to keep counting?
Yeah. And where are you from?
Lived in Miami Beach all my life. I'm American-Cuban. Born in New York, Queens, and now just moved here in Santa Barbara, Sylvain, and I've been here for like about a year. So
okay,
yeah.
Now, I mean, tell me about your childhood, and you told me an interesting story before about how your family ended up here. So what's the background? What was your childhood like?
My childhood actually was very. I feel very blessed and privileged. My childhood was like a dream childhood dream, right? But I wasn't like born rich or anything. You know, my family came from Cuba as like, you know, immigrants. They worked hard, and my mother ended up getting, you know, her degree, you know, and you know, my childhood was basically me and my brother. If you know, you should actually interview him. He's a badass like artist. His name is Jason Pastrana. I think his handle is pastrana.jason.
Okay.
Like opposite me. And he's amazing. You know, he's a senior concept artist for Oscar nominated producers and costume designers. And then so the reason why I'm bringing him up is that my brother and I actually grew up together looking at like arts and being involved in the arts all my life. So actually I have lived a beautiful, privileged life as a child. My mother sacrificed her life, you know, trying to get me to the best schools, you know, and, you know, get scholarships because we didn't have the money. And, you know, since I was a little girl, actually, I looked up to these beautiful females that were like ballerinas, and they felt so like magical to me. But I did actually suffer with a little bit of an eating disorder. So I don't want to get into that. So thank God my husband actually keeps me like healthy, which is why I love him. I've been with him for like 20 years.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so like basically I did grow up looking, I was around a lot of important people in my life. Like as a child, I was like, you know, I went to like summer camp as a child, you know, I got to meet like, I'm talking about people that I've won like president's awards and like daughters of like celebrities and rich girls, and I was like the poor girl who got in just because she worked hard.
Hey, that's something to be proud of. That's something to be proud of.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like it was like, you know, I feel very lucky, and I wish like more kids would get that opportunity. Anyway, don't even get me started. I do feel that some things should be a little bit easier to give like children like more stuff to like, so they know what they want to do with their lives and stuff. So yeah, I basically, you know, started as a dancer, got my bachelor's, and, you know, once a dancer, always a dancer. I'm 42. I'm not like active and like as active because I'm more like behind the scenes, you know, because like my master's is in filmmaking, film production. So and by the way, that's like another story why I got into like filmmaking.
Yeah, what's that?
Yes, I'm going to get into it right now. So, you know, I've been modeling since I was 9 years old and everything, and performing on television. Actually, when I was a child, I did like a star search type of, you know, preliminary, you know, they chose me, Saulo Gigante. I was doing like infomercials, modeled in some magazines. I basically helped my mom, well, you know, when she was a single mother, you know, with her bills because I was a model and I was getting paid to model.
Wow.
So, yeah. And so, yeah, I got into filmmaking actually because I was like doing all these music videos as a performer. You know, I did music videos with like Lil Wayne. I've been in music videos with Nicki Minaj. I've been in music videos with Drake. I've been in music video with Pitbull. I've been in music video with all these Latin reggaeton artists, like, you know, and the sad part though about these music videos is like, you know, you really don't make a lot of money,
Sure.
You know? And I was like, and this is before I became a producer, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, also being a woman, you get hit on a lot and such some dirty stuff in this industry that I'm like, screw that. I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. So that's why I got my master. I was like, screw this. I'm not gonna be like, having some man try to give me opportunities because I'm there's some things that are there's some things that are like non-negotiable, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Documentaries actually got me into filmmaking, besides the dirtiness of this industry. I'm just gonna keep it real, you know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. It's
it
definitely
real.
the reality of the situation. I think this year, with everybody coming out and talking about the dirty side of the music, of the entertainment industry in general, I think that we're on our way to change.
Oh yeah, and that's what I like, I'm like, that's why whenever like someone like approaches me, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm authentic. I like to keep my shit real and do things by the book, and that's why one of the many reasons why I love my partner. He keeps me on check to make sure that I do everything properly, So I got into filmmaking because of documentaries and because of my experience as, to be honest with you, I didn't make that much money. It was very tough for me. Artists in general don't make a lot of money. I'm gonna keep it real. You can see like flashy stuff online, but you know what? The reality of these actors is that they suffer, they sacrifice, they're putting themselves out there. I don't even want to say it. Yeah. I wish I could say it, but I don't want to be like, because I'm trying to actually.
Cat Williams said it. It's okay.
I want to be the voice for the actor that works hard versus the one that is, oh God, it's gonna come out. Versus the one that's whoring themselves out just to get a part.
Yeah.
And this means men too. Men are like, but I want to be that voice for like actors who actually deserve, or artists that actually deserves more. So like seeing just the behind the scenes, and that's where I got my filmmaking degree. And then, I don't want to sound like a walking resume. And then
What made you start the documentaries?
Well, you know what? Funny part, because I felt fulfilled. So like I would look at these documentaries and I was like, you know what? Documentaries are the future. Think about it. You learn so much from YouTube. Like, actually, I got a freaking degree, and like I'm not regretting it because it has given me the enrichment that I need, right? But nowadays you're going to punish these people, these students that actually like looked up to a higher standard and getting their degree. Don't bash people with degrees. We fucking worked. Oops, I said the F word. We freaking worked hard to get here. The degree and everything is great, but it's just so much into this industry more than just a degree. You have to have like so much stuff. And I got into documentaries though because they were rewarding for me. And YouTube, you think about YouTube, it's very informational, and I feel like you enrich someone's life just with like information, like that's it, because some people are visual people and some people read more, and I'm a visual person, so like I appreciate documentaries because they enrich my life for like the visuals and being able to like educate myself on something I didn't know with them. So that's why, so I got into filmmaking because of documentaries. Even though I did a little horror, I'm not gonna do a little horror. I've done commercials, I did commercials on TV and stuff like that. But like, my thing is like, I just want to feel like I can entertain and like try to produce things that are like more purposeful and have a better energy and positive. So I'm kind of, being an artist is like an involvement. Let's just be real too. Back in the days when I did like a horror film, I'm not the same person. Like being an artist, like I'm learning how to evolve with my years in, living and my experiences and then, and my values and what I believe in. So I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago. My mind has shifted. So yeah.
Tell me about some of the documentaries that you worked on.
Well, I worked on a samurai history type of documentary, and but I'm actually working right now on a documentary with women. I can't really say much about it, but it's just basically the healthcare system and women's rights. So I got some juicy stuff.
Sure, and that's definitely an empowering topic. That's something that can enrich people's lives. Absolutely. You
hit it right on the nail, Corey, and this is why I want to do an interview with you, because I feel that your interviews are very purposeful, like they're very real. Because some people can do interviews and it's the same genre. I don't feel that. I feel that's boring. I feel like, why do you want to only listen to one tone and one narrative? Like, let's just listen to everybody and let's see what they have to say. And actually, that's why I'm very happy to interview with you. I just feel that, you do a very good job.
I appreciate that. So, I mean, tell me a little bit about the journey. I know you kind of skipped over a lot, but so you graduate with a master's in film production.
Yeah, from New York Film Academy, yeah.
Wow. Now that's a hell of a degree.
Dude, and I not only did that degree, I did it in a 3-year accelerated program.
Wow.
And I finished it in 2 years. Wow. It's like straight, like basically like 4.0. Like I was almost exempt by the end of the year, because what I did was my program and my curriculum was for 1 camera, and I lit a feature film for like 2 cameras. Which is kind of like taking things to like the next level. And that's why I was like, you're exempt.
So you graduate with that degree, and what are the first projects you worked on?
We do like a lot of short films, but my career sort of took another level when I became a TV producer for NBC.
What do you consider your biggest accomplishments of everything that you've achieved, everything you've done? What's your biggest accomplishment?
Oh, my biggest accomplishment. Okay, thanks for that question, Corey. You're such a sweetheart. Actually, my biggest accomplishment, and actually this means a lot to me because it's one of the happiest moments of my life. And I did it because I took a risk. And that's one thing I definitely tell people, that you have to take a risk. Like, let me tell you, all the opportunities, all the happiness I've ever gotten in my life is because I was not complacent in my comfort zone. And if there's something, any knowledge that one does not know, or they're like, you actually have to try it. So I was flown from the East Coast to the West Coast in a television show similar to Dancing with the Stars.
Okay.
It's like it was called Mi Sueños Bailar, and that's the reason why I always say similar to, because I'm like, oh, I was in this TV show, Mi Sueños Bailar, and like a person would be like, what the heck is that?
What's your blessing?
What? Yeah. So it's like a similar TV show. I actually won the TV show season 1. I had 4 million fan votes, actually. 4 million people vote for me. This was actually before Instagram was around. Huh. So I would have capitalized that on little Instagram.
Right.
So I was, for me that meant a lot because, I was the only female they flew from the East Coast to the West Coast. And, they booked a hotel for me for like 3 months. I had a driver, I had food. I was paid there like professionally. Pretty much like I made more money on television than I made as a phlebotomist, because I also I went to nursing program. You're like, what?
What?
Yes, Corey, that's a little secret I didn't tell you about because I didn't want to my mother's a nurse, and because this industry is so freaking hard and very unstable, because most of the contracts are usually like 3 months, 6 months. If you're on television, you need to sign a longer contract. So, Corey, let me tell you a little background. There was a moment before I got my master's, I was like, oh my God, I'm suffering here. I'm not making money. I want to be independent. I want to, pay my bills. So I went back to school to become a nurse.
Huh. Wow.
And I was in the pre-nursing program. And I actually finished all my prerequisites. I did everything. And then I became a phlebotomist, which is like those people who draw blood when you go to the hospital.
I was thinking, did that play a part in your horror productions?
No, it did not. And honestly, this didn't do anything. All this did give me more of a resilience and an awareness of what happens in the hospitals, which is not for me, honestly. I was like, man, I'd rather get paid and get pampered on television with a little makeup artist. Pay me to just get beautified. That's my ideal job. Why do I want to have a high risk? I was drawing blood from HIV and cancer patients.
Wow.
So it was like a high risk. And I was like, man, I'm not making enough money for me to what if I prick myself, and screw that. So I got that opportunity in LA, Burbank. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with the medical field. I'm not even going that route. It's not for me. I don't like working in grubby areas, sick. I'm not a good thing. It makes me depressed to see people dying. I saw someone die in front of me who was, they were doing cardiac arrest and everything. And I just, it's just not for me. Like, that's not what I was raised in the arts, and I came to that conclusion after I made more money, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stick to the arts because this is what I know I do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, would you say your
Thanks for the
biggest
question.
obstacle? Would you say your biggest obstacle in the entertainment industry has been the fact that you're a woman, like you were saying?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh my God, that is a component for sure. That's a component. I'm still being underpaid with a master's degree. I don't even want to tell you, because, there's a difference between performing on television when you've already been booked and there's a lump, you got the production giving you money and everything like that, then versus you producing your own stuff where you got to pitch it. You got to look for work as a talent. You're a talent agent. You got to have a manager. You have to have it's a tough, and the thing about me, what makes this even harder is that my mind has to compartmentalize into these little parts, because I have to be like, okay, I'm not on camera now. I'm producing, I'm doing this, I'm editing, I'm doing this, and it's very tough for me to kind of transition myself sometimes, but I get it done, and being a woman, that's totally a factor for sure. Yeah.
Now, someone who's coming into the entertainment industry, particularly filmmaking, especially as a young woman, what kind of advice would you have for them?
For what? Producing, filmmaking, modeling, dancing, choreography?
If they're going to be talent or production, it seems like a lot of the same challenges are right there on both sides.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of things. Let's go to being an artist first, right? Let's take it to being on camera. My advice, as far as camera, is have an agent. But I want to be very real. I think it's very important for someone to actually know they are actually talented. Because there are a lot of people out there that, unfortunately, they think they're talented, and they're super sweet, great people, but they really want to have that dream. And I'm not trying to be a dream killer. There's other dreams. Think outside the box. There's always many ways to be creative and still dream that actually shouldn't be on camera. But actually, I take it back. Because I'm a type of person that I never like to keep people held back. I feel that everybody has potential. I just feel that it's going to be harder for them in the industry because they're not as a natural talent. And I think being a natural talent is the first thing to recognize before you get in this industry, because this industry, you'll suffer for the rest of your life, and it's not it's a cutthroat industry. You have to have thick skin. You've got to be never late. You've got to be professional. You've got to be responsive to these agents giving you gigs, work, commercials, managers. You've got to be so first thing is to evaluate yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and be you know what, is this me? Have a face-to-face reflection and speak to yourself. And then after you decide that it's genuine in your heart, that you really feel that you're going to be an actor or be on camera or do, and then make that decision. I'm just basically saying the preparation is more important than making that decision. I won't even go there. How's that? I won't even go there until someone has that conversation with themselves, because the honest truth is it's a super tough industry. Even my brother, who's successful, he was out of work for 6 months or so while around the strike. I mean, he worked during the strike, but after he works with one film, there's a little wait time before the next film. That wait time is no money.
Yep.
You gotta actually save your money or have some other income or whatnot. As far as talent, I'm don't even go there. That's my advice to everybody. It's unless you have a heart-to-heart conversation with yourself, don't torture yourself, because it's a torture. I'm in this, and I invested money and my time, so this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life.
Sure.
And I know I do it well. But for a newbie, a beginner, or someone who's breaking into the industry, unless you're doing it since you were a child, unless you have parents that actually know how to get you there, unless you have a network and a support system and have an idea of how the industry is, I'm don't bother. I'm sorry. I'm straightforward. I keep it real. I'm don't bother. It actually breaks my heart to say this. I'm what's worse? Me telling a person a lie and be yeah, go ahead, be quote unquote famous, this and that. Like nowadays, everyone was trying to be like, I'm like, I just have a face-to-face conversation yourself first before you make that decision. And as far as filmmaking, I think it's very important. There's some things that I regret. I think it's very important to take a lot of footage. I think it's important to be around other filmmakers because other filmmakers will up your game. I'm around other filmmakers, I'm like, wow, actually I look up to some people, I'm like, wow, the cinematography is incredible. These people are upping their game. I think it's important to always look up to people who are better than you, or at least produce better than you, so that you can actually take yourself up to a higher standard, Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things you said about, when you're getting into talent is you have to understand how the industry works. And I think that's one of the most important parts is because, a person could be the greatest actor, the best looking model, the best singer. But if they start to make progress in their career and then they're hit with these crazy contracts that they offer you, asking for way too much, it can come as a shell shock situation, and it could really throw a very talented person off if you're not ready for it.
Oh, Corey, you are 100% right. I mean, there's so much into this industry. It's all kinds of stuff. It's money. The people always want to get more money, squeeze more money out of you. The honest truth is it comes down to if you cannot invest in your career, you can be super happy. I'm happy gardening. That's one of my freaking habits. Do freaking gardening. Gardening is so healthy for you. It's a happy thing. Just pick something that just fulfills your life, and it's just don't even bother, because the thing is, it takes money to make money. If you have to invest in your career. You have to invest in stuff. At least it's super difficult when you're in the public eye and the media and stuff. You always have to. That's why I have so many gadgets. I'm like.
Absolutely, but that's all part of it. It really is, especially in the social media era where you can be getting these jobs, but if you're not advertising the fact that you're getting these jobs right, then you're not getting these jobs.
Yeah.
I think Instagram is kind of your digital resume now. I mean, I think you would send people to your Instagram before you send them an actual resume. So if you don't know how to market yourself,
Dude, actually 100%. Actually, that's like another conversation. I can talk to you forever, Corey, because I'm like super techie. I'm into like the marketing thing. I'm a super nerd, and that's like 100% right. You hit it on the nail.
Getting to the documentary you're working on now and the previous ones, how do you go about getting funding for a documentary nowadays?
Oh, yes. Okay, the first thing is first you have to believe in the project. Because that's the main thing. Because what happens is that some people, they start producing something and then they get disinterested, and then it kind of gets dust and it doesn't go anywhere. So the harder you go, like the harder you feel about a project, the more oomph and willpower you have to proceed. The best thing for, I would say, do research, and a pitch is important. And the best thing to do is, documentaries are the easiest thing to produce, actually. The harder things to produce is like films, because you need a script, you need actors, you need to pay actors, you have to pay special effects, more camera people. Documentaries are the easiest thing to produce because you really only need like minimum of 2 cameras, maybe one for B-roll.
Right.
It's easy. So I personally like documentaries, like I said, is because you get a bigger bang for your buck, so to speak. You get purposeful information. You don't have to break the bank to produce something. Basically research, have a pitch. I have ideas of pitches, like if anybody wants, someone actually sent me I get people who send me their pitch, which I feel very honored. Because I'm like, wow, I was like, wow, that means so much to me that you actually believe in me enough to actually read your script and pitch and stuff. And one has to have something to present to Netflix. So you need something to present. And that could be even a pilot. So my idea is like, if you can actually take footage prior to them buying the project, that's even more sellable. Because some people try to send a pitch and like, yeah, I have this idea. Can you go give me $1 million for it? No, you're not gonna give shit.
Right. What have you done to show that you can do this?
Yeah, you need sometimes you do need namers. You need value. So there's production value. If you can add clout, production value, and substance to the documentary, or whatever you're filming, then it's easier for these big like Netflix and bigger companies to actually buy it. So you have to put a package together. So that's the thing. You got to put a pitch, have package, a budget. Hey, this is the minimum I can do this. If you want something fancy, you want something more elaborate, this is a different budget, a little more. So it's good to give. I think it's good to give like at least 2 budget ideas, maybe a cheaper budget. Like if you're like, if you want to like not, if they don't want to spend that much money, maybe they just want you to be like one of those fillers, those fillers to, so I think it's important to have options and have a package together so that, you're basically selling your idea to them. And, it has to be kind of like also going with the times, what's going on in the world, what's, it's kind of like you have to go with the flow.
Gotta be a trending topic kind of deal.
Exactly, which is what I'm producing right now. It's totally a trending topic.
Absolutely. Roe v. Wade.
Oh my God. And the funny part is I'm not such a political person. Like,
well, this is beyond politics, man.
Oh yes, exactly. This is beyond politics, Corey. You nailed it. It's actually, I'm an activist sometimes a little bit, but this is just basic human rights, man.
What are some of the other documentaries that you've worked on?
Samurai history.
Okay,
Samurai
that's
history.
right.
Yeah. I didn't get to go to Japan. I was trying to go to Japan and everything. And so I do I'm not gonna lie, I got some stock footage in there. Nowadays, like there's like documentaries with crappy stock footage. I'm like, dude, I can do way better than that shit. Because actually I used to do some kendo and Japanese swordsmanship. Yes, I was training.
What haven't you done?
Well, the thing is, when I'm an actor, because I've even done like a preliminary, like American Ninja Warrior stuff. Yes, exactly. Because like when you're an actor and a dancer and you're all talent, you always gotta like up your skills.
Sure.
And and the funny part is I never even got into it. You need to actually have a photo up so people believe me of the like the American Ninja Warrior show. Yeah, I was training for that shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was actually timed. They're timing me and shit to see if I could be on the show. And then like I was like doing the obstacle course and like actually fell. Because the thing is, I'm short. I'm athletic, but I'm petite. I'm like 5'4", 5'5". I say 5'6" with heels, but I'm petite. I got little hands, and sometimes these like obstacle courses, you gotta have like big hands, right. And you gotta like taller to jump. So like I hurt my neck, and then I didn't qualify.
Yeah.
I didn't make it to the show. I like to keep things real. I did not actually make it to the show, but I have a wonderful photo. Maybe you can, Yeah, absolutely. Definitely send it to me. And I think that's kind of one of my favorite parts of the film industry. I graduated with a degree in 2009 and I've been in and out of it. But what I've learned is, A, you never know what you're going to learn on a set or for a project. And B, you never know what you've learned in your past that will come in handy on set or during a project. Amen. 100%. Oh my God, it's so true. Like, for example, I was an audio technician for a obstacle course game show for Univision, besides the floor director. And you see me with the laugh. Maybe you can have that photo in case some people believe me too, because I sometimes I do a lot of shit. You're like, is this girl real? Can I pinch you? Yeah. Yeah, that's why, I could get a little scattered if I don't stay focused, because I'm a little bit of an overachiever. What I'm agreeing to is that you said that sometimes in the past, there are certain like things that you've done that you're like, wow, that gave me a skill I didn't know I had. And like that gave me the resilience. Like that's why, even my partner always says, you know what, half of the battle is showing up. Like you have to show up, because there's certain skills that you learn that you just no other place can teach you, you know? And I can be a grip. I've been, grip, and I don't always have to do producing stuff. I love getting my hands dirty, man. In the dirt or like with the guys, like I love, I just love being, doing things with my hands, being able to, move around, like be on set. working from home remotely as an editor is cool and all because I get to be with my puppies. Being on set or being, doing something it's amazing to connect with people in the TV world, behind the scenes. It's really nice.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you've accomplished so much already, and you've already achieved some of your dreams. But do you have any more big goals that you want to accomplish before you're done?
Oh my God. Yeah, I have to continue looking for goals because it never ends, Like even me, like with the experience I have, like I'm always learning. I it's a matter of fact, I've learned, I'm like, I still feel like I don't know as much as I want to know. Like I want to keep learning, and I'm trying to get into audiobooks. I'm writing an audiobook on, and the thing is that, like I said, you have to actually be inspired and it has to come from your heart. Because if not, it won't flow right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you can't like swim against the current. You'll never get there. You have to actually feel where you're in the current and it flows, and you pick the right project, pick the right thing that you're happy doing, and then you can move forward. I'm actually writing a book on like relationships. Pretty much. Yeah.
What made you decide to do that?
Well, my relationship, I decided to do that. Yeah.
Couple goals. Couple goals.
No, I mean, let me tell you, because like people are unrealistic in this world. Like they want, like some people, they have like high expectations and they expect someone else to be a certain way. But I don't want to like get into it, but let's just say it takes certain wisdom and maturity to actually, have a successful relationship, creativity, patience, respect. But that's all like cliche stuff. I have like really detailed like practices that people can do to improve their relationship, and like that's gonna be my first book. That's the book I'm working on now.
That's amazing, especially because y'all been together for 20 years. A lot of people, like for me, I learned the lessons that you're talking about relationships from my previous relationship that was terrible, and now I'm in a great relationship. But without that perspective, I don't think I would have been able to write a book, been able to see it that broad. But for you all to be together that long and have that strong relationship, and it's amazing.
I consider that successful, and the thing is like I love, what, lately I've been binge watching, like, you're gonna laugh, Corey, Indian matchmaking, Jewish matchmaking. I watched Love is Blind. I've watched every love show because I don't like reality for the sake of reality. Like if it's too drama and negative, I don't like it. But I'm like, I like to learn from these people. Like I'm like, I actually appreciate my relationship more when I look at them because I'm like, oh my God, you guys, I'm so glad I don't have to date around. Like it's a lot of work, And I'm like, when you have someone that is your partner, has your back, loves you unconditionally, and is willing to work through this war, in this life that we've been given, then there's really no need to like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing,
Yeah.
It's like, so then I was like looking at these TV shows and I'm like, oh my God, if they only knew the wisdom and the experience I know, I can totally help this couple.
Yeah, right.
Like, so sometimes I feel like sharing like tricks and, things to like, I like to see people happy.
Sure.
So,
and that's a huge part of, again, going back to the entertainment industry. If you're going to go into the entertainment industry and you're in a relationship, your partner needs to fully understand what it is going to take for you to succeed in this industry, because it's not just hours, it's relationships that you have to have.
Oh yeah.
Phone calls that you have to make. You have to have a level of trust that cannot be broken in order to succeed. And if you're not in a good relationship trying to get in this industry, you got to get out of that relationship.
Oh yeah, in this industry especially, oh my God, it is a nightmare having a relationship in this industry. And I'm not gonna even cut, and I'm okay with sharing, certain like, it was tough in my relationship in the first few years.
Sure.
And it's totally okay to say that because I want to actually educate people on why it was and the changes I've made to make things better. And it's just like, what it is, people are looking into like, social media just makes everything so much worse for a relationship, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Yeah. So thank God I don't want to say what I want to say, But thank God my husband is not really that into social media, so that, we have like our little space together that's protected. Because what happens is, like, if you like read into things too much, and
Yeah, you go on, I'm sure people leaving comments on your posts that are not
Oh
respectful.
oh no, actually everybody has respected me.
Really?
You know what? And yeah, but you know what? It took work, because I don't post things that are like, how do I say this? Disrespectful to myself.
Sure.
Like, you can be sexy and have class, and that's why I've always gotten respect now. Like, I'm all good. Everybody has actually have had the highest respect for me. Worst thing I get, which is not the worst thing, is I get a little heart. But that's like, nowadays, you give everybody hearts, right?
That's not bad.
That doesn't mean you're romantically into someone. You do a little smile, heart. You kind of like give your little positive mojo, and that I'm okay. I'm okay with that, because I do have fans from the TV show, who are like, I'm sure I got some secret crushes too out there. I do, which is okay, because I'm respectful to them too. Like, I'm like, and I'm very straightforward. I'm like, you're a wonderful person. You can be handsome and talented, but I'm happily in my relationship, and and that's it. That's life. That's why I've been posting more a little bit. I want to actually have like my partner with me, even though he's not really into that stuff. He's my apprentice. I'm trying to teach him how to use the camera.
That's cool though. That's cool. And it seems like it always works out that way. Like, one member of a relationship is constantly posting, and then the other one does not post at all. That's my case.
And honestly, if it was up to me, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I wish there was no social media. Because the honest truth, even though it's great for, let's say, networking and engagement, and it's like a YouTube and everything, but I'm an introvert who's outgoing. You would never believe it. Like, if I'm in front of a stage, I've been performing in front of thousands and thousands of people. My warm blanket is people. Like, the more people, I feel more comfortable. It's usually like, I get a little shy when it's like more of a close-knit, like less people, like let's say 20. I get anxiety, because I suffer a little bit from anxiety. That's always like been hard for me to do things with my anxiety, which I've learned how to manage it. And then like for me, like, it's just I feel comfortable more like in front of the camera than I do like sometimes in like little gatherings.
Sure, and I think that's the thing with artists. I've spoken to a lot of musicians who say that they're very introverted and shy people until they get on stage, and then they get on stage and it's like they become a new person. But I think it's kind of a still waters run deep kind of thing, and that's where the artistic side of them lives, is the still waters.
Yeah. Like, all my little outfits, you've seen all my cute little hair wigs and little, that shit's fun for me. I'm not shy at all when it comes to certain looks and fashion, and because I grew up with costumes all my life. I grew up with when it comes to that, I'm like, I stick out the middle finger at the point, like, not literally, but I'm like, this is my zone, man. This is my zone. Yeah. So, and like I was saying earlier, is that maybe it's my alter ego, or something, but I'm actually, I prefer connecting with nature, camping and hiking, and it's a contrast, actually. That's what I love and hate about this, right? So I got this superficial, techie side of me that's like, superficial as heck, and then there's a side of me that it's, let's hug a tree, let's go prune some plants and feed the little birdies.
Balance, then. That's the yin and yang,
Yeah, like I'm weird, and I take that as a compliment. They've called me the beast in my masters. They call me the beast, and they've called me crazy sometimes, but not in a negative way. Almost like, because sometimes I do bite off more than I can chew, which is something I learned in my masters. I was like editing to like 24 hours just to get. If I show you my editing timeline, even my mentor was like, wow, this looks very intimidating. Like, he's like, because I had like layers and layers and layers and layers and layers that the timeline wasn't this big anymore. My timeline was like it was like a little tiny. It was my timeline when you like go like this was as thin as my hair. You open the timeline, it's the beast, you know, it's like, and then you have to like scroll down how many actors did I have? I had like 6, 7, 8. I was like, oh, they're there.
That's how it is, man. That's how it is. All right, well, before we end the interview, is there any kind of life advice that you would leave for anybody watching?
I don't know, man. Just enjoy it. One thing I'm learning right now, and it's really tough, is it's like enjoy the process. Like enjoy the journey. Because I think like I'm listening to Atomic Habit, and I recommend that. My partner recommended to me the Atomic Habits audiobook. Okay. And I also bought the book. It is amazing, you know, about it speaks about priming your space. It speaks about habit stacking. It speaks about how to break bad habits and how to replace them with new ones. And then so it's just very important to know that your brain is like a computer, and like you have to like reprogram it sometimes. So basically my advice is to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, because you're going to make mistakes. Like, and that is the learning curve. That is part of the learning curve. As a matter of fact, people who are successful make more mistakes probably than anybody else. Or they've learned, you know, it's just like I'm saying, like, you know, enjoy the process, because the honest truth is like life is not like a straight line. It's like, it's like up, down, it's curvy, it's this and that, and someone else might have a straighter line one time. But let me tell you, it's not going to stay straight. Yep. It's not going to stay straight. Whoever tells you someone has a straight line to success is lying to you, because you don't know what billionaires and millionaires had to go through to be wealthy. Some of them are born into it, that's fine, but they have other struggles that they don't talk about. Yep. You know, saving money is hard. It's super hard. You know, people don't talk to you. Even relationships are hard. I'm not going to lie and be like, hey, everything's like peachy, you know, because that's not reality. The reality of it is that you're going to have mistakes. Yeah. You're going to have obstacles, and so the best thing to do is to actually enjoy the journey and the process. Don't just not enjoy the process and the journey and just wait for the result. Because the result is not going to be as fulfilling as the journey and the process it took to get there. Absolutely. And the result doesn't come without mistakes, ever. I mean... Oh, no, actually, that's where I get, even in my editing, I'm like, oh my God. Because if you have to deliver at a certain time, like I can edit endlessly. Like I edited this music video and I decided to do graphics and everything. And I was like, oh my God, there comes a point that you got to like stop. Yep. Stop. Like, and you just got to be okay with it. Like, just be okay with what you produced. Yep. And you know, because I'm my hardest critic. You're your hardest critic. You know, there's people that might not even see things. Maybe you're doing scribbles and, you know, little like effects that other people don't know. That's already like super elaborate for some people, even though I might want to be like, oh, I want to add more. I want to add more lights and this and that, you know? So it's just, you know, you got to come to like a point where you have to just stop, be happy what you produced, be happy what you did, and move on. Yep. No, someone told me once, no project is ever finished. It's just turned in. Oh, you know what? That's a nice way to putting it. Because if you ever think, but then you're super hard on yourself because you're like, oh shoot, it's not finished. For me, I have to actually physically see myself closing a door, or I will go back at it because I'm very hard on myself. So, but that's okay. So that's something that I'm learning through this journey, that I'm, you know, letting everybody know that it is the most important part, is that you have to just be happy with what mistakes you've done and what you've done so far, so that you can actually stay off of that plateau and that static stage and move on to grow and grow and grow. Because each mistake or each thing that you do is going to make you a better producer, better actor, better podcast person. Boom. Hey, so much went wrong on the set of the first Jaws movie. People thought Steven Spielberg would never work again. So, you know. You know how hard it is? Man, people just don't know how hard it is to get there. Let me tell you, it has been sacrifice. So it's very important to actually enjoy the journey more than the result. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, Melissa. This has been a great Conversations with Character. Follow her up, hit her up. Let's just stay tuned for this documentary. I cannot wait to see what you do with it. You are going to be the first to know.
Please do. Please do. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
The most prestigious network in the land, the Signature Series Network.